Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Joy Reid makes a complete fool out of herself on Piers Morgan and reminds the rest of the world why no one wants to hire her. Let's dive in.
Now, Joy, look, let's be honest. I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin colour or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Piers. I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations in your tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Mark. All right, Piers. And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. And I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognized game. I get this is
it's
your
not
game.
My shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your
shtick.
It
is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is.
Stick.
Piers, we
people
understand
got bored
what
with
it is. And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations. But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president, why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find that charming and funny.
I find it hilarious because you're the one. You're the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald Trump.
You said Donald Trump is a white fascist.
Are so he is a well. I agree with Mark
Obama did the same thing.
Last time I checked, is
I'm not allowed to mention his skin color.
I agree with his former chief of staff, who last I checked was not black and said he's fascist. And Mark Milley said he's fascist to the core. Okay. So I happen to agree, and I know this is what it's important to you, with two very white gentlemen about Donald Trump's fascist tendencies.
Okay.
If that makes you sad and uncomfortable, I can't help you, Piers.
No, yes, it
There's
made me sad and uncomfortable.
I
think it makes you a little bit of a hypocrite, but that's different. Now, President Trump reacted to your departure by saying, low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSNBC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. What's your response to that?
It's fascinating to me that you think it's important that I care what Donald Trump says about me. It's a badge of honor. If he dislikes me, then I think I'm doing something right. I have zero respect for Donald Trump. And therefore, if he feels the same way about me, then the feelings are quite mutual. And I'm very, very proud of that and happy with it.
Joy, I think that's why you're not employed anymore. Okay? First off, her biggest problem is her Trump derangement syndrome. She can't say anything positive about the president, even if he, cured cancer. You would find a way, people like Joy would find a way to make it sound like a bad thing because they do not want him getting any credit whatsoever. They're essentially mentally broken because Donald Trump keeps having success. And the reason that Joy is mentally broken is because she's not authentic. Seriously, the reason why Piers Morgan has survived in this media space is because he is clearly authentic. He almost looks... He started laughing like Tucker Carlson. He almost looks like he's having a good time here. And he's trying to get Joy Reid to fully understand. In her moment of hubris, this is the fundamental reason why no one was watching her. People want that authenticity. They want someone who actually cares about the news that they're giving you. I personally think I have it. For some reason, y'all are watching me at this moment. I guess there's some reason that you find what I do authentic. Maybe it's because I get a little history on it. Maybe it's because I wear cool shirts. That's not the point. The point is, Joy is an empty shell. She has spent her entire life trying to get to that newscaster echelon. She's been trying to reach that high point, but she forgot what it takes when you get there. What she didn't realize is people watched her because she was giving news. They didn't watch her because she's Joy Reid. All right, that's the reality here. She does not understand what makes her popular as the very system that propped her up to begin with. And now she has been trying to interject extra politics. She has tried to scream about Donald Trump. She brings a race card wherever she goes. And eventually, that piles up, it gets on a little thick, and people get tired of it. Meanwhile, Piers Morgan knows what's entertaining. He understands that people need to have their say. That's why he has his style of show, where there's anywhere between 3 and 5 people all talking at once. And he's fantastic at this, and people believe what he has to say, and they want to hear that debate. Joy Reid, on the other hand, doesn't understand it. She does not want debate. She wants to preach. All right? The thing is, though, people don't like a preacher that's going a little bit off the rails. And that's what Joy Reid has kept doing over and over and over again. And now you're about to see the real problem and something even deeper about Joy that, well, Piers Morgan calls her out for this. I think that's another black stain on her record. Let's dive in.
Okay. I want to play a clip. This is you talking about, you attacking parents. You spoke out about their concerns about gay and paedophilia pornography books being placed in school libraries.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so
Sure.
I'm going to answer
Please
for
do.
you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? I mean, that's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No, we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Now, there's also a second clip. This is you talking about Republicans exploiting concerns by minors who identify as transgender. And you said this was an old age tradition which Nazi Germany did. The confusing part of all this, Joy, is what you really think about the LGBTQ plus, whatever it now is, community, right? Because as you know, when you started commentating about this, appearing to be a big ally, a lot of stuff emerged which came from posts that you had purportedly put up in a blog between 2007 and 2009, one of which said, most straight people cringe at the sight of 2 men kissing. Another said, I don't want to watch the 2 male characters in Brokeback Mountain. You were talking about having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. You referred to the then Florida governor as Miss Charlie and featured the tag gay politicians. Now, you said at the time when all this emerged, I genuinely don't believe I wrote those hateful things because they're completely alien to me. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they've not been able to prove it. Now you're not at MSNBC. Now you're on your own, doing your own thing, and you don't have to worry about repercussions and stuff. Are you prepared to finally come clean and just admit that was your blog and you did say those things?
You know, Piers, I might have known that you would use this opportunity and interview and that this was your purpose, right? This is your purpose. And that's fine. This is your show and you can do whatever you like. You know, I could sit here and go on and fight with you about your strange, weird obsession with Meghan Markle, but I won't do that because that would be rude. But what I will say is,
if you want to.
We can do that as well.
Sure.
But the point being that I was very open with my employer at the time about what happened with that old site, which I stopped writing in, before I even came back into the NBC family. And what I have not really talked about publicly, but what I can tell you is that I had a very legitimate reason for being concerned about it because I was also on the radio at that time. And the things that I was literally talking about on the radio were quite the opposite of the things that were in that site. That is the reason that we began investigating what was going on with that site. And there was also someone who I do not know, who I still do not know, who had login access to my site for years that we did not even discover because I hadn't looked at the site for years. I don't know who that is. I don't know why they had access to the site. But had I not been open about that, I would have been definitely fired or there would have been some repercussions. I was open with my company about that. I've been very open. Everyone who knows me knows about it. And so if you want to argue with me about an old blog site, that's fine. And I'll take
I just asked you if you
responsibility
did
and have
write
done.
it.
And hold on. And I'm willing to take responsibility for anything that was on that site.
Did you say them?
For you,
Did you
but
say
hold
those
on,
things?
wait. Listen, what I'm
Come
going
on,
to say
Joy.
is very
You
simply
said
this.
them.
What I'm going to say is
Come
very
on,
simply
you said
this,
them.
Piers.
You know
the
you did.
point that you're attempting
You
to
just
make
spun
now,
me an absolute
no,
load of
hold on
old
a second.
flannel.
The reason that you are trying to go here is that you're trying to defend the idea that Moms for Liberty and these other organizations can take books that are not pornography, that are not pornographic.
No, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to see whether you like to hold people to account, and I'm just trying to ask you
myself to
questions about you being held to account.
What a load of dishonest tripe. I think I might need to retract a statement here. That's the real reason she got fired. Notice the difference between the two segments of this clip, even though they're all, I believe, one solid video. You saw her getting a little histrionic about Piers Morgan calling her out for playing the race card as much as possible. And then with this, that sounded like someone delivering the news. In other words, Joy Reid's real problem was when she went off script and would not talk about the actual news. It means that she was wandering into waters that were going often contrary to whatever her producer was wanting her to say. Because that's how these news organizations run, okay? Fox News does it, MSNBC does it, CNN, they all do it. They have a certain script that they want to talk about that day. What it seems to me is the only time she sounds like she's actually composed is when she's fully prepared with the actual news. I can possibly believe that story that she's telling, but she's also projecting. She is trying, and this is the real reason she got hired. She's good at spinning a story back to make a broader point. The problem is, no one's buying that point. And then, to make matters worse for herself, go back and watch her facial reactions when Moms for Liberty is telling why they want certain books banned. And it's just this smug, I know more than you, but I'm going to let you speak because I'm morally superior. So you put that level of smugness, you put that level of half professionality, and then you start interjecting your own opinions on a news show. No wonder people like you got fired. The reason you got fired is quite literally because you, Joy, went off script constantly. And it caused so many problems behind the scene that no one wanted to work with you. And Piers Morgan is essentially calling you out for being not only hypocritical, but being ridiculous and spouting off what is essentially a load of tripe. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.